Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter at ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/Scott P. Gallagher.
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source, bringing you our weekly local marketing industry update. Now, next week's LMS member call is going to be Wednesday, July 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Well, thanks everybody for getting on the line here today. We've got a couple of different things to talk about and a little bit some housekeeping items. Which students were on the call earlier today? If you could just give me a quick little message in the question box and just let me know if you attended the webinar that we had a couple of hours ago. It was a public webinar. It was tough. I'm up at camp right now, an island called Manitoulin Island in Ontario. And there's no running water or cellular service or power here. So we're running off the sun. Everything runs off the sun and solar. And our internet connection beams up to space and then all the way back down again. So it's difficult, but we're able to get through. And then I'm also running wireless lavalier internally. A lot of technology to make this happen. It's kind of neat. But fortunately, we can get it done. So, yeah, I was just looking to see which students were on the earlier webinar so I can just get an idea. I see some other people just logging in here. That's good. Why is this thing beeping? It's beeping now, letting me know people are coming in. Yeah, Nick's saying what call? It wasn't, Nick, it wasn't promoted to LMS members. It was just something that we promoted to our public list. So depending on how you're tagged inside of Infusionsoft, you may or may not got the promotion. The reason why I'm asking about it is I want to tell LMS members specifically. And what we're getting at is I've been with Local Marketing Source for 6 years now. And it's been a hobby of mine. I spend about 10% of my time every week in it, but the fact of the matter is I really enjoy it. What I like about it is I've got people that are involved with Local Marketing Source that take care of everything that I don't like, which is a lot of the business, the financial sides of it, and even getting into just some of the lower level marketing of Local Marketing Source. The high level marketing of it I like the speaking engagements, I like writing content and books, I like doing presentations, I like educating, but what really fulfills me is watching people be successful. And you see, with $100 a month membership, it's impossible for me to give my time to that's really necessary to those that are really serious. Guys like Josh Nelson and Scott Meadows and whatnot, and they've spent significant money with me in the past, just trying to get greater access. And so I've held off for a couple of years on this with Local Marketing Source, but it's now time. It's been the last 6 months that I've been putting together thoughts and interviewing different people and trying to put together a high-level program. And the presentation that I did earlier today was really, we didn't do heavy promotion to it. We just took some random samples of our email list and brought in some people just to kind of feel it out and see the reception of what we've got as our next step. So I am going to be discussing this further with LMS students directly, and it's you guys that are nearest and dearest to my heart and most likely most suitable for this program. But just in a nutshell, it's not a cheap deal, but we're going to be taking on 5 members only. And my goal is to utilize those 5 members to go through this program that I put together that I think is great. Take a snapshot of where you guys are today, and then take a snapshot when you're done after the program of 3 months, and utilize those case studies. So I can begin to spend more of my time local marketing source and travel, do what I enjoy most. And there's nothing more that makes me feel better than doing what I'm doing right now, looking out at the waves rolling in and Canadian flag flying, and with my son and my family. Life's great. But anyhow, you guys are members of mine. You guys do give us revenue, and you're looking for some content. So let's talk a little bit about that. Now, there wasn't a lot that has really changed. So in terms of an update this week, that'll affect attendance. Yeah, I wonder what I said. What'll affect attendance on who we promote? Yeah, I'm trying to do things right. I want to do everything right. Just want to make sure the audio here. And the problem is it seems to drop because the winds are coming in and moving the satellite dish. So I've been losing a call from time to time, and it comes back. Just bear with me. But there really hasn't been a lot in terms of updates this week. We could talk a little bit about the Google Map Maker soliciting editors. In other words, Google is we've talked a lot about Map Maker in the past, and how they tried to take a Wikipedia approach, and it just really doesn't work. In other words, now Google is recruiting and hiring people to go out and literally solicit businesses face to face. They're trying a lot, man. They remember what a year ago they were making a lot of phone calls, and it just tells us a few different things, that these companies, they're very far away from having effective databases, and they're not rocket scientists. Maybe they are, but they don't have it all figured out. And so as of today, Google is now trying to recruit individuals to evaluate users who express interest and qualify for a regional leader of Map Maker. It's interesting. No other business has done this, but they all want to have the best database. Google's making some further changes, and they may also made some changes to the prominence and display of review on mobile. Now, this is important because we've seen a trend over the last 3 years of companies. I mean, there was a point in time you can leave reviews as anonymous, and trust and authority for review profiles have increased significantly. Our review acquisition system, utilizing the email autoresponder, is working extremely well. I do want to report on that. We could talk about Google's new interface. They've got, they're looking at a new interface for Home Finder, but really what I found interest in this, and why I'm talking about this, is Google is becoming more and more of a destination place. And what that means is not just to find a business, but even to place orders on a menu for a local business, for example, or get access to a product subset. Now, for most of our clients, how could Google add greater value to a dentist? Well, what if Google allowed integration with their Google calendars that they already have, and allowed patients to change, modify appointments, or download directly from Google relevant content? I'm going to speculate we're going to see some of that come out, just because of this. When we start to see new interface, especially with this Hotel Finder interface, it's got to happen. It's going to happen, and it's going to change. This was an interesting one. Search marketers, do they believe that they make the world worse? This one's coming out of Search Engine Land. And I wanted to talk about this because I have noticed for a long time the SEO reputation. You see, when I started this business in 2005 and I talked to somebody about SEO, I get the deer in the headlight look. What? Now every business owner's got an opinion about search engine optimization and what it is, and almost 9, if not more than 10 times out of 10, talking to a small business owner, I've got to take them back. I've got to run them through a process of unlearning what SEO really is and what online marketing is and the value of that. When we follow the 3 different pillars at Local Marketing Source and creating these real citations, not just a simple web reference, but a real marketing piece that is published in, say, an American medical journal or something of that nature. Well, this is now starting to get into mainstream. And when we see, some of the mainstream organizations like Search Engine Land talking about, our reputation, well, now it's a problem. Now it's an issue. So how do we learn from that? How do we market our agencies different when we start to recognize that the industry has hit a certain threshold? Well, you can run a quick survey. If you've got an email list of more than 100 and it's industry based, I'd be running that right off the bat. I'd be running that right now to find out, just get an opinion of what your audience feels like in your market. Now, with a list of 100, you're not a very big sample size. But the fact of the matter is if you know anything about statistics, and I did stay awake in some statistics classes, the fact is, if you have a sample size of 1,100, that's the smallest margin of error. That's the largest sample size that you need to pull almost an infinite audience. In other words, if you notice in the United States, when they try to get an understanding of, politics and where a politician lies, they'll call and they say, we called 1,100 Americans. It's because 1,100, give or take a couple, I think it's like 1,150 or something, like whatever it is. But the point is that sample size is large enough to accommodate and make the margin of error statistically insignificant. So you grab a sample size of, the size of sample that you need is dependent on the size of population. So if there's 80,000 80,000 chiropractors versus 8,000 couriers, I could take a smaller sample size and have the same statistical margin of error. That's all I'm getting at. If you've got a small list, you can get a good idea of your audience. And we're recognizing that our audience is, and we're being told of perception values, well, that's the marketing and that's the messaging that you likely should start to consider to change for your audiences. In other words, what are some of the challenges faced with SEO? Maybe a headline would be a good email broadcast is, SEO is not dead, but most do it wrong. I really try hard to get away from the term of SEO. But at the same time, my chiropractic side is chiropractic SEO. And the reason for that is that perception. SEO is related to getting to the top of Google. But the process and actually go about do it is not SEO. So we're talking about branding and positioning here. I'm just going to check in to see if we've lost any connections. Do I have any attendance? Yeah, I had a hard time with this last webinar. So we're going to be putting together a formal, we all know that people don't like to be sold, but people want to buy. And I've had several LMS members in the past year ask for more, ask for some greater help, and are willing to pay more for it. And that puts me in a position that I've decided to transition my time. And so what we are doing is we're launching September 1st a premium class. It's a 12-week program, and it's not cheap. But the more that you're going to learn about the program, and if you're serious of what you're doing, you'll realize that there is a great benefit, or that's ultimately our intentions. So in the first portion of it, the first round, the first 12 weeks, I'm only taking on 5 students, and that's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. And we're going through an application process. So I just did a webinar. We promoted to, what did we promoted to? 1,000 of our list. We had 101 registrants, so we got a 10% registration rate, which we thought was really good. And then I had 22 people on the last presentation, so that's what, a 21% attendance rate, which is average. It should be higher. It's hard to believe, that 10 people sign up for a webinar and 2 show up. But I'm like that too, so I can't say that. And out of those 20, we had 9 applicants. And then with the applicants, there is an application page that I'm gonna provide you to go through, and I'm going to pick and choose who these 5 are. And the reason why it's so important that we pick the right 5, I need successes. I need case studies. I need to show that you guys were at spot number 1, and then after 12 weeks, you went to another place. And the presentation that you're going to see is fully laid out. For example, over the 12 weeks, on Mondays, there's a 3-hour live class. I never will provide a recording. Every Monday, it's live, and it's going to recur every 12 weeks. And the reason for that is, although I've got an itinerary that covers all 12 weeks, the teachings are going to be catered to the student set that I'm working with, but it's not education that this program is about. It's about me working with you directly to achieve the goals that we want to create. So Mondays we've got the live workshops, okay, never recorded. On Wednesdays, of course, we've got a regular LMS member call, but then on Fridays, every Friday, there's a one-on-one Skype session with me. And this is going to provide that level of accountability that all of you were asking for. I need the application process because, as I mentioned, to go through and get the right student set. Now, the goal is to become a leader within your niche. We've done it. I've been able to do it twice. So I feel that there's enough success behind me. And as you know, about a year ago, we added a focus of chiropractic care. And so I did it 10 years ago, and now doing it again. I feel that education that I've learned in the last 9 years, plus this last year for the second time around, that we can pull this off inside of 12 weeks. And that the plan is week 1, we set up the tools, make sure you got all the right tools in place and all the tools are set up properly and that your plan is built. And, week 2, just in 1 week, in 7 days, we are together going to build your website, your business card, your postcard, and your graphics, like your logos. Make sure that that's okay. Some of you, of course, have already got some of this stuff, but we'll have to get in and at least look at it all to assure that it's effective. And of course, this is all niche based. I'm not talking general based. I can't. I've only achieved successes in the niche, so that's about all I can provide. Week 3. Well, let me show my screen here. I'm flying through this. I'm not going to spend an hour, 10 minutes like I did before. But week 3, we're gonna go ahead and create the email autoresponders for your business. Here's an example of my email autoresponder, and you can see here that it goes out on these days. 13 emails. It's in an SOS, which is a soap opera series. So obviously one of the lessons is going to get talking about what all the SOS is all about. During this week, create your webinar, create your opt-in videos and your social channels. Week 4 is getting into creating your offline mailing packages. So we're going to write your letters and we're going to create your videos together. I'm here to help with anything that needs to be done to get those videos created, and then of course get them burned on the DVDs. This here is a very important stage because we're going to create 2 lists and identify who the top prospects are in that list, and those are the lists. That's the list that we're going to work on. And so, looking at your list, I'll provide my opinions, and you'll provide yours. If we go through the Skype meeting and say, okay, this is these are our target list, and this is the best list to work with, and how we're going to go about do it. One thing about this program, obviously, you can see is the accountability, because we talk Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Week 5, we start to get into the sales end of it, actually send out the mailer. Week 6, we're doing some follow-up calls together to get these meetings booked, and we got to achieve goals. So I know the numbers in sales, man, and if you're not hitting those numbers, I'm going to be there to hold you accountable for that. Of course, things come up and whatnot. Week 7, getting into the different sales process and going through that, and then beginning our monthly marketing. Okay, the monthly content marketing. Week 8, look at these 4 documents, and these 4 documents should be specific to your business and how it fills out. Here's an example right here. Whoops. I've shortened this down, but this is this document right here. And those have to be created in implementation. And then of course sales, I'm going to act as a sales manager to you and hold you accountable to your activity. Week 9, we get into great details of implementation. So you can see, now what I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to offer this and put something together for LMS students a little more formally. But if you have a pen and paper, grab this right now. If you have any interest in this, this is the application side of it, guys, to apply to the program. I had 9 people apply, and like I said, I'm only accepting 5. But I'm being very, very, very picky. I know that most LMS students, if you're on this call and you attend calls regularly, there's a good chance that you would be in a much better position than most of my list to qualify anyhow. And I just want to show you this here. Anyhow, I just wanted to talk about this. I hope I didn't use too much of your time to sell. I know there wasn't a heck of a lot of updates this week to discuss. But what I felt was important, or if I had a theme for today's call, would be accountability and front end aspects. Too many people get overwhelmed, especially when they get into the local marketing source program. There's 100 videos, and what do I do? What do I do next? I'm working hard. I'm working hard. Where do I go? Well, everybody's different. When I talk about segmenting your audience, you know what my audience segments are at Local Marketing Source? I've identified 4 segments, and everybody, I bet I got members on the call live right now that fit into one of those 4 different segments, and they're 4 very different segments. The challenge is you've got somebody that's never done anything, a newbie. You've got the established agency that's been around for 10 years. You've got those people that have internet marketing experience but can't sell. Or you've got those people that come from a sales place and are very good at sales, but really don't understand internet marketing. So it's like night and day. It's a very difficult segment to sell information. It's a lot different than a chiropractor. Their segments are much more closely related. But you'd be amazed when I look at One Marketing, my agency, and look at my segments, and I say, okay, I deal with chiropractors and couriers. And within the chiropractic world, I've identified different segments. And so how do I create different content with that? And how do I push that content out to that to sell? And another thing that I've noticed among LMS members, you see, we've had 900 members since we started. And there's some commonalities that I've learned. And what's amazing is people don't understand the difference between sales and marketing their company. And they're so intertwined, and how they change. And I remember when I started my agency in 2005, I wouldn't physically wear the hat, but I'd literally take off my marketing hat and go to the sales department and take off my sales hat and go to the finance and accounting department. Even though I was one person, I set it up as I was a 5-man show. Only because that's how university taught me. Just so happens that it worked out and it was a good idea. So, what are you going to do today as an LMS member to hold yourself accountable? How many people write down your goals on Monday morning? What do you want to achieve this week? And if you're not, why not? And are you reviewing those come Friday? What did you not achieve and why? And how is this going to affect your plan? Do you have a business plan? Do you have a content marketing strategy beside you? Print it up. What is your marketing plan for your agency over the next 12 months? Do you have one? If you don't, please get one immediately and print it up and put it beside you. We all know who GoDaddy is. Bob Parsons at GoDaddy says everything that's measured everything that is measured improves. Your plan is a tape measure for your progress of your business. You want to improve your business without even realizing it, that you're improving it, and you will do it subconsciously. Get that plan. Check bullet points. I don't care. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You could write it down on loose leaf paper for all I care. But having accountability being one of the biggest issues or challenges, and you're starting out, you've got to hold yourself accountable. And the best entrepreneurs always hold themselves accountable.
Well, thanks for watching the Local Marketing Industry Update. We've got these things coming out every single week, so if you liked with what you heard, just click the button right above me right here to subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to get a little bit more, right over here, go check out localmarketingsource.com. We've got free reports that you can grab. You can even register for a free marketing course to get in and see the portal. Or just go ahead and follow us on some of the social channels. We'll be around. Until next time.